Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome everyone for coming to this ceremony. I first received notification from the Saugus military families about the condition of the Corporal DeProfio Memorial. Because of the efforts of all who participated in the program of rehabilitation of this site, we will now have a fitting tribute, a reminder of the ultimate sacrifice that Corporal DeProfio made for his country. I would like to give special thanks to the Building Maintenance Department and Monterelli Landscaping, who donated a substantial portion of the cost of this rehabilitation. The town will be sure that this memorial of Corporal DeProfio's service is properly maintained in the future so that we will never forget what he gave to his country. Now I'd like to turn the mic over to Captain Castanetti, President of the Veterans Council.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here today. For those of you that have been to Washington, D.C. and been to the Vietnam Memorial, there are over 58,000 names on that memorial of folks that were lost in Vietnam from 1957 to 1974. Today we gather here to remember one of them. One of our own from Saugus, the first from Saugus, to be killed during the war in Vietnam, 1967. Corporal Michael A. DeProfio grew up in Melrose, but moved here in 1963 and graduated from Saugus High School in '64. After high school, he worked at Line Lumber, for those of us that are old enough to remember that, Line Lumber on Central Street. And in 1965, he joined the Marine Corps. On April 17th, 1967, Corporal DeProfio gave his life in the service of our country in Vietnam. Many of you remember 5 years ago when Corporal Scott Procopio was killed in Iraq, the only Saugus resident to die in that conflict to date. Recall how that felt, how the tremors traveled through the entire town of Saugus immediately after the word came that he was killed. In 1967, the same thing happened. Many of you weren't even around at that point in time to remember what was going on during Vietnam, but that was a common occurrence every single day. People around, not just Saugus, but surrounding communities, were getting the call, getting the visit that their loved one, their friends, their family had perished in the war. Today we're here to remember Corporal DeProfio and make sure that his memory doesn't fade. In preparation for this day, I mentioned to a lot of people that we were doing this. And it's amazing how many people in Saugus that drive by here every day or bring their kids to school here every day didn't even know that this memorial existed. As you can see, that's changed. And to drive by here tomorrow, and for every tomorrow from this point on, it's going to be very obvious that Corporal Michael A. DeProfio is alive and well with us here in Saugus today. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I know it's a little nippy out here this morning, but thank you very much for coming. And please keep in mind all of those, not just Corporal DeProfio, but all of those who have given and paid the ultimate sacrifice throughout all of our conflicts. At this point, where's Tom? I'd like to turn it over to Tom Raich, who has a few words to say as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here. Before I came here this morning, I went to the veteran's grave. I find myself going there a lot lately because I think as I get older, I respect the ultimate sacrifices that Saugus kids made. And we can't forget that. I looked at Arthur DeFranzo, the Medal of Honor winner's grave. I saw the grave of the Kazabuski boys, and how they died in the mountain infantry 2 weeks apart. And they were waked. It was such a big deal in Saugus, they were waked at the town hall. The Saugus community was so devastated by the loss of these two young gentlemen who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And then I saw it most recently with Scott Procopio. And then as I drove by here, I always noticed this and realized that he was a young man, Saugus High grad, who gave the ultimate sacrifice for the service of his country. And it's important for us, it's important for Saugus as a community to remember those young men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice. I graduated with William DeProfio, and he mentioned to me, I'd say 12 years ago, we should do something about Michael's memorial. And as I rode by here, every time I thought about it. And most recently, I contacted Joanne Rappa and the town clerk, and she talked to Andy Bissinani, and they made this a reality. And it's an honor. And I'm so proud of the fact that the town of Saugus will never forget the young men and women who grew up in town. Corporal DeProfio grew up right there. That's the reason for the memorial being where it is now. He grew up on Maple Street. So as you ride by, remember, this was a Saugus kid who went to service for his country and gave the ultimate sacrifice. I just want to thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure. And I can't say enough, because it means a lot. It means a lot to the DeProfio family, and it means a lot to Saugonians to realize that one of their own gave the ultimate sacrifice that we're never going to forget. And I can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Before we finish up, I'd like to recognize some of the folks that are here with us today. First of all, Corporal DeProfio's brother Billy and his sister, I forget your first... Nancy, I'm sorry, Nancy. We have the town officials. We have members of the Board of Selectmen, town manager, town clerk. I know she's here. Where is she? She's hiding somewhere, huh? The students from Belmonte Middle School, thanks for coming out, guys. I know you're probably freezing over there, but I'll be done in a second. We have the commanders of the VFW, commander of the American Legion, and the commander of the DAV with us as well today. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your schedules to be with us today. At this point, we're going to officially dedicate this monument to Corporal DeProfio by saying the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, thank you all. Please recognize not just this monument, but all the ones around town as you conduct your business throughout the day. Thank you very much, and have a good day.